Hello everyone, back again with movie and tune recap. Today, I'm going to explain an Irish-British independent horror film from 2016, titled A Dark Song. Spoilers ahead, so watch out and take care. Under the pretense of wanting to communicate with her dead son Jack, Sophia Howard rents a secluded house in Wales and convinced Joseph Solomon, a troubled occultist, to guide her through a challenging spiritual ritual. When Solomon asks why Sophia wants to perform the invocation, she initially tells him it's because of love, and this causes Solomon to reconsider, saying he wants to return to London. At the train station, Sophia pleads with Solomon not to leave, offering him more money and finally reveal the truth. She wants to talk to her dead son, and moved by her desperation, Solomon changes his mind and agrees to help. They drive back to the secluded house, where Sophia assures him she is fully committed to following all the rules to ensure the ritual works. She asks Solomon to lead her through the demanding, months-long rite from the Book of Abramelin, and the goal is to summon her guardian angel so she can ask it to help her speak to Jack. Solomon warns her that once they begin, they cannot leave the house until the ritual is complete, otherwise, they'll face grave danger. He also explains that the process will require enduring severe physical and emotional challenges, as they will encounter both angels and real demons, and Sophia agrees to these conditions. Concerned about her mental health, Sophia's sister Victoria tries to persuade her to abandon the plan, but Sophia refuses and insists Victoria stay away from her. While Solomon heads into the nearby woods to gather items for the ritual, Sophia begins cleaning the rooms in the house that will be used for the rites. The next day, Solomon seals the house by spreading salt around the perimeter, and he gives Sophia one final chance to back out of the ritual, but she remains determined to proceed. Later that day, Solomon abruptly wakes Sophia by dousing her with a bucket of cold water while she sleeps. Shocked and angry, Sophia confronts him, and in response, Solomon angrily shouts at her, asserting that he is in charge and will decide what must be done for the ritual. That night, Sophia has a haunting nightmare in which she sees her son in a beach being taken away by an old woman. The next day, Solomon shows Sophia the rooms prepared for the ritual. One room contains 5 circles drawn on the floor, which he explains is where they will summon her guardian angel. He then takes her to another room with a large triangle drawn on the floor, and finally to a room with squares etched into the floor. To begin the ritual, Solomon forces Sophia to sit within one of the circles for 2 days without food or water, reading passages from the Book of Abramelin. After enduring this grueling test, Sophia tells Solomon about a dog barking she keeps hearing. Suddenly, their conversation is interrupted by a loud thud as a crow crashes into the window, and Solomon solemnly declares that the ritual has already begun. Over the next few days, Sophia endures immense physical and mental suffering as part of the ritual, and the ordeal leaves her severely weakened. At one point, she falls ill but continues to push through after recovering. During another stage of the ritual, a loud thud startles them, prompting Solomon to warn her to be extra cautious going forward, as the ritual is becoming more dangerous. When it comes time for the forgiveness ceremony, Sophia refuses to participate, unwilling to let go of her anger. To compensate for this refusal, Solomon insists on an alternative, a blood ritual, and reluctantly, Sophia drinks his blood. As the ritual continues, Sophia lies on the large triangle symbol, while Solomon writes intricate symbols on her back. Later, Sophia is required to write her own symbols and recite words in a foreign language. One day, as Sophia sits within one of the circle symbols, strange objects suddenly begin to fall from above, and Solomon interprets this as a sign that the ritual is taking effect. However, after months of grueling effort with no supernatural manifestation, Sophia grows frustrated and complains that the process is taking far too long. In turn, Solomon accuses her of hindering the ritual by withholding the truth. Finally, Sophia confesses the real reason she's doing the ritual. It's not to speak with her son but to exact revenge on the unknown teenage suspects who had kidnapped her 7-year-old son from daycare and ritualistically murdered him.
This whole fucking thing! Get out my son, you...
That night, after calming down, Solomon awakens Sophia and explains that her dishonesty has left her impure, and she must undergo a rebirthing ritual to cleanse herself. The ritual takes place in a bathtub filled with water, where Solomon holds her underwater until she drowns. He recites a spell as part of the process and then performs CPR to resuscitate her. Later in the kitchen, Sophia furiously confronts Solomon about drowning her and pushes him in anger, causing him to accidentally puncture his side on a large knife. As Sophia treats his injury with their meager medical supplies, Solomon tells her that his injury is another sign that the ritual is starting to work. He tells her that she will get her revenge and admits his own reason for participating. He plans to ask the angel to make him invisible for the rest of his life, longing for peace and quiet away from people. Despite Sophia's care, Solomon's wound becomes infected, leaving him gravely ill, but still, he refuses to leave the house, determined to see the ritual through to the end. As he perseveres, Sophia starts experiencing terrifying phenomena in the house. She hears the faint cries of a baby, and sees an ominous symbol etched into the walls. One night, Sophia is awakened by the voice of her son calling to her, and desperately, she follows the sound, which leads her to a locked room. The voice begs her to open the door, claiming a dog is inside with him. Sophia hesitates, realizing the voice is not her son but something imitating him. When she refuses to open the door, the voice grows hostile, and begins violently banging against the door, trying to break free. Frightened, Sophia flees to Solomon, and despite his worsening condition, Solomon insists they press on, and convinced the ritual must be completed. However, his infected wound ultimately claims his life, and he dies in his sleep. Overwhelmed and unsure what to do next, Sophia searches through Solomon's books for instructions but finds that everything has been scribbled out, rendering the text unreadable. Unable to continue the ritual on her own, Sophia breaks the protective salt circle surrounding the house and tries to flee in her car. However, the car won't start. Desperate, she walks down an empty road and eventually arrives at what seems like the nearest house, only to discover that she has somehow returned to her own house. With no other options, she goes inside and finds Solomon's lifeless body lying on the way to the stairs, and terrified, she decides to stay in the house. That night, while using a candle for light, the flame suddenly goes out. When Sophia attempts to relight it, she sees demons lurking in the darkness before they vanish. Panicked, as Sophia runs, she encounters more demons along the way and eventually, she locks herself in her room for safety. Throughout the night, the demons torment her, and she hears the sound of her son's voice calling to her from the other side of a door. Sophia affirmed her love to his son, and overwhelmed with guilt and anger, Sophia promised to find and punish his killers. The next morning, Sophia cautiously steps out of her room, only to come face to face with a demon holding her son, and before she can run, another demon knocks her unconscious. She regains consciousness in the basement where she finds horrifying demons surrounding her, including the monstrous dog. The demons restrain her to a chair, torment her mercilessly, and even cut off one of her fingers. In pain, Sophia managed to break free and desperately tries to escape the basement. However, the demons won't allow her. Covered in her own blood, Sophia softly whispers, "I'm sorry," and suddenly, a heavenly bright light fills the room, and the demons retreat into the darkness. Drawn to the light, Sophia follows it to a room where she encounters a radiant angelic figure wearing armor, her guardian angel. Instead of using her favor to request vengeance, Sophia asks for the power of forgiveness, and the angel smiles gently. The next day, Sophia performs a solemn water burial for Solomon, placing his body in a nearby pond, and finally, she gets into her car and drives away. Relieved and free from the horrors that plagued her, Sophia exhales deeply as the movie concludes. Okay guys, that's all the recap about A Dark Song from 2016. Thanks for watching, see you again in the next video.